Hello and welcome to Madden 08. I am the Red Menace, and this is going to be a Let's Play Madden Franchise Mode video. So as you can see here, we've got our Madden 08 loaded up. The reason I'm playing Madden 08 is because it's the last version of Madden to have a PC version made. It'd be nice if they would do a new one for the PC. EA needs to get off their asses and port one. But from what I've heard, the franchise mode on the newer ones isn't as good. In fact, what I've heard is that Madden 08 had the best franchise mode. I played some of the earlier Maddens. In fact, I still have my discs around here somewhere for, I think, Madden 04 and 07 or 06. But we're going to start out in our franchise mode. We are going to go to the menu and go to this file. And what we want to do is we want to load the default roster. As you can see, I've actually got quite a few different rosters here. Obviously, this is Madden 08, so it has the default roster is the league as it was in 08. The reason I'm going with the default roster is I want to play this franchise mode for a while, and some of these other rosters, if you go 3 or 4 seasons deep, they break. You'll get to like a free agent signing mode or screen, and you'll go next, and the game will hang. So the default roster is the most stable. And what I want to do, I don't have any allegiance to any particular team for my franchise mode, this time at least. What I want to do is I'm going to pick a team kind of at random, and I'm going to add a single player. I'm going to create a player that is going to represent me in the game. The way I like to play this franchise mode is to put one character, or even a few characters, in a game, and then see how I can set personal goals for myself in the game. So if I create, say, a quarterback, I want to create a team around that quarterback that can get him the most passing yards and touchdowns, and just see how far I can push the stats over time, over that player's career of 10, 15 years, or however long until the game has them automatically retire. Well, they don't automatically retire. There's a chance once they get to a certain age that they'll retire that year, or the next year, or the year after that. I think some of it has to do with how well the player does the previous year. So if you have like a level, or a quarterback who's level 35, if he does really well, he might not retire, but if he has a poor season, then he might retire. Conversely, if, say, he wins the Super Bowl that year, he might retire. Or, similar to, like Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl and retired. I think John Elway did the same thing. But I want to pick a poor team, because I'm going to go with a fantasy draft, so it doesn't really matter to me how good the teams are or not. And I think I'm going to try and relocate this team, because Madden 08 has a relocation mechanism in the franchise mode that's kind of interesting. Wow, this was 08 the first year that the Texans were in the league? I think these teams are just in a state where they haven't drafted any or picked anyone up in free agency. They have their last year's roster and then any rookies they signed during the draft. I think I will try the Houston Texans. So we'll go into player management. Wow, they have a ton of halfbacks. What's their breakdown? Huh, they have everyone they need to have. But again, I guess as I said, I'm going to go with a fantasy draft. So if we come up here to create, you can see the screen here. And then I'll just, that's not my real name, that's just my online handle, but it works. I'm going to make him as young as possible. That just means he has the longest career possible. We'll just pick a college. I think I'll make him a halfback. And we'll make his number the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. This doesn't represent me in real life, but we'll make him a big power back. Let's go 242. Pick a hairstyle. No. We'll give him nice short hair. Oh, and I have a beard in real life. So we'll pick a bearded looking character. That looks good. Don't have any tattoos. We won't give him any tattoos. Equipment. Let's bump his pads up a bit. Make him all big and muscly. Just kind of random. I like the sleeves. Some running back gloves. I do have a prescription for glasses, even though I don't wear them. And to wear a visor in the NFL, you actually have to have a subscription. So, give him a visor. No nasal strip, no mouthpiece. We'll give him, I like the extended roll look. And now we come here to ratings. Now, the thing about the ratings is I'm going to shoot for an overall, which is this number right here. Shoot for an overall of about 85, which is about the rating that a first-round rookie would have, like a top 10 rookie picked in the draft is going to have an overall of between 86 and 82. So we're going to shoot for making a character that is equivalent to a very good first-round draft pick. Now, the numbers, all these, the different attributes, their numbers, throughout the career of the character, change in different ways. So, for example, speed is a stat that never really increases over the length of the career. It will go down once the player hits around 30-ish. I think it randomly drops a couple of points every year. Around 30-ish, maybe 32. Halfbacks, that age, I think is earlier than most other positions. But even like quarterbacks, once he gets up to 36, you don't expect him to have very good speed. And the same is true for halfbacks. So I'm going to set this value high to begin with. Now, a player like, say, Adrian Peterson in his prime is going to have a speed of... We could look it up, but I'm going to guess it's between 96 and 99. So we're going to give him a good speed rating. I generally avoid going with 99. And another thing to add to the way the stats change over time is before the preseason, Madden 08 has a little series of mini camp drills that you can do, and you can choose which character you want to do. And you've got, I think there's 8 of them. One of them is ground attack, and which has you, similar to the way you play the game, you've got your character, the quarterback, a bunch of tackling dummies that represent the offensive line, the wide receivers, and the defense. You also have, on the first level, you have 2 defenders, and then on the second level you have 3 defenders. But by performing well in these mini drills, you can then increase the stats of the character that plays it. And speed is a stat that you never have the opportunity to increase through those mini drills. You'll never be able to change the character's speed over the lifetime of the character. So to start, we definitely want to have that as a high stat. Now for running backs, strength is a stat that never changes. So it's another stat we want to put high up. And for running back, strength isn't as important as speed. And it's not going to influence the overall as much either. So it's a stat we can easily set pretty high. And not have it affect how, the overall, which we're shooting for an 86. And it's good to set it high because you don't have the option to change it. Now, awareness is a stat that changes. Now, I don't exactly remember which stats you can change with the running back mini drill. I believe it's definitely agility. It's definitely break tackle. I think it's agility, break tackle, and carrying are the 3 stats you can change with the running back's mini drill. Awareness, though, is a stat that increases a lot over the length of the character's career. I think with running backs you can't manipulate it. You might be able to if you use your running back during a passing mini drill. But I generally don't do that. I generally save the passing mini drills for wide receivers. So we're going to set it low. Because if the character does well, then this awareness stat will increase quite a bit. It has a high potential for increasing. If your team wins the Super Bowl, your awareness is going to go up quite a bit. Probably, if you win the Super Bowl, you could expect a 10 to 20 increase in the awareness. Not only that, but the awareness doesn't seem to have that big of an impact on a running back's success. There are other positions, like if you wanted a good center, you'd want a higher awareness. And quarterbacks benefit from high awareness. They definitely throw less interceptions the higher their awareness is. So let's go ahead and set this at minimum, I would say, would be 40. And this will be a stat that once we go through all the rest of the stats, we'll increase it in order to get us up to that 86 level. So for now, we'll put it at 40. Agility is a stat that I can change. Generally, with those mini drills, you get about 3 points per season to customize it. Let's put that at 80 for now. It's a stat that has a fairly large effect on the overall, so we'll set it at 80. That's a good stat. Acceleration is another highly needed stat for a running back. It basically determines how quickly he gets to the line and gets to the quarterback to take the handoff, and then, can he zip through the line well. It'll definitely have an effect on his yards per carry, so we want it high. Let's go 94. Catching. Catching is a good stat. It has a small effect on the overall. And a good catching stat for a running back is probably in the 70s. So that's what we'll go with for now. Carrying has a huge impact on whether or not your running back fumbles the ball. And you definitely don't want him fumbling, because that'll cost you a lot of games. But it's also a stat that has a big impact on the overall. Let's set it at 80 for now. Carrying for 80 is pretty good for a rookie. It's a stat that'll go up as if the character has success, similar to the awareness stat. I'm going to drink some coffee here. We'll set it at 80. Jumping is a stat that has no impact on the overall. So 90 is a good stat for that. We don't want to set all of those to 99. It doesn't seem realistic. Break tackle is a stat that's very similar to carrying. It's a stat that I'll be able to manipulate with a mini drill. Let's set it at 82. That one definitely has the biggest impact on yards after contact. Tackle doesn't matter because that's a defensive stat. The only real impact it has is, say there was an interception, your running back would be more likely to chase the intercepting player down and tackle him. Very rare event, obviously. So let's put it at 76. Throwing power. Generally, running backs don't have the greatest throwing power. And the minimum throwing power for a quarterback would be 70, 75 for a third string backup. So 54, it's not terrible. It's not really great. And these are just going to be random stats. Now, pass blocking does have an impact. It'll definitely help the passing game. And I think it also has a pretty good impact on the overall. 60. Yeah. Really, most running backs have pass blockings that are less than 50. Like 54 is it's not great, but it's not terrible either. Run blocking, since he'll mostly beating them all, that one doesn't really have much effect. How much? No, but it also doesn't have any effect on the overall. So let's make that 64. Kicking power, again, that's just a useless stat for him since he's not a kicker. Kicking accuracy. Kick return. I don't want him to be a kick returner. Mostly because kick returners get injured a lot. And so I'll set this low. Specifically because sometimes the game will automatically update your depth chart, and if he has a high, if his kick return rating were 99, then it would automatically put him in there. And then if you forget that it's in there, then he ends up with an injury, and that's, it could be all season. It could be a season injury, and you certainly don't want that. If you're looking to have, if your goal is to see how high of stats you can get. So our stamina, we'll make that high. It doesn't have any impact on the overall. Let's make it a 96. Let's go 98. Injury. The description is a little misleading. It should be injury avoidance, or basically the higher the number, the less likely he is to get injured. Which I definitely want to avoid injuries, and since it doesn't have any impact on the overall, I'm going to set it up to 99. Injuries get annoying. You can turn them off, I think. But that's a lot less realistic. And, I'm trying to avoid cheating by creating an overpowered character. Some people might still call it cheating, but it's just one character, and I'm going to draft him through the fantasy draft, so it doesn't really matter. Toughness kind of affects injuries as well, so I'm going to put that to 99. And now I'm going to play with the stats, and try and get him up to about an 85, 86. So let's try, let's see what happens if I put carrying to 88, and break tackle will do the same. Okay. And let's try what happens if that puts him at 86. I want to increase his awareness a little bit. Let's see, let's put his agility. No, actually I want to put his agility at 88. And put his break tackle at 84. And then let's try going up to 50. I've tried putting the awareness really low, like in the 20s before. But if you do that, it seems to keep it from increasing it the same. Like if you put it in the 40s, you seem to have greater awareness gains through through his first few seasons, rather than if it's really low. So let's try 46, 48. Let's see, at 50 it was 46. He's at 86. So 51 seems to be where we want to go. So we got everything we want. Yeah, okay. Let's go Buzzcut. Okay. So we'll create an exit. And there he is. So let's go back. We're going to go Menu, we're going to go File, and then we're going to save a new roster. And we'll call this Tex one custom HB. And we'll save that. Go ahead, done. And then we'll go out of the roster management menu and go back to the main menu. And then we're going to go to game modes and we're going to go franchise. And we're going to hit new. And we're going to name our franchise we'll just call it one custom halfback. So put the trade deadline. We're going to set it to off. We're going to put the fantasy draft to on, and we're going to allow relocation. So we're going to hit done. And we need the AFC, and we're going to go Texans. And we'll start our franchise. So, I won't need to pick up my custom character for quite some time, because teams are going to, for the most part, select their halfbacks based on the overall. So I'm faced with the choice of, do I want to pick a quarterback first? I could pick a good wide receiver. Maybe I should decide on what quarterback I want to shoot for. The young Eli Manning. The Dragon Rex Grossman. There's still quite a few good picks. Vince Young. I've played 08, Vince Young was coming off his first season. He's got pretty ridiculous stats as far as acceleration, agility. He can put up a lot of yardage on the ground. But then so can Michael Vick. But it'll kind of take away from my halfback if I have a quarterback that can get a lot of yards on the ground. Eli Manning would be a good choice. He's a pocket quarterback. He's got high awareness, decent throwing power. Could go for a good wide receiver. But I generally like to pick him young. Young Larry Fitzgerald would be a heck of a choice. Which means, do I want to go for my offensive line first? No. And it's Steve Hutchinson would be a good choice. So would Walter Jones, but he's kind of old, 33. what the hell. We'll pick him up. Most teams are going to go quarterbacks, halfbacks first round. Walter Jones is still available. Yeah, that's a good choice. But let's see what we've got for quarterbacks. There's Roethlisberger. Eli Manning is not that far down, but these quarterbacks are going to start going pretty quick. Halfbacks were at 88. Let's go ahead and we're going to pick up Eli Manning. Pick up me. Matt Light, I believe, is Patriot. That might be a good pickup for my... Who do we have as a center? He's 30. Jeff Saturday's 32. Yeah. Let's go with him. Well, that's exactly who I wanted for my left tackle. Now I need... How many guards do I have? Just one. Logan Minkins. He's got better stats as far as run blocking goes, but he's a lot younger. We'll go with him. Ooh, that's hard to pass up. But then there's Todd Heap, who's a better run blocker. But 55 for a tight end is a little above average. 58. Kellen Winslow. Ooh, Kellen Winslow's 24 years old. And he's a 58, I think. Yeah, we're gonna wait on that. Ugh. Drew Bennett, for wide receivers, I generally like their speed and acceleration to be above 90. But I also like tall wide receivers. There's Isaac Bruce. Calvin Johnson. Ooh, he's a rookie. Yeah, I can't pass that up. We'll pick up Calvin Johnson as a rookie. I don't think they're going to be picking up fullbacks at this point. Antonio Bryant. Fairly young Antonio Bryant. Everyone else is in their 30s. Mark Clayton. I don't recall who that is. Does he play for Miami? He's got good stats, so we'll go ahead and pick him up. Uh-oh. I think I missed out on my opportunity to pick up the tight end I wanted. Young Heath Miller. got a rookie Vernon, or second year Vernon Davis. Heath Miller is a better blocker. Does he have better catching too? Yeah. Better awareness. Not as strong. And again, these aren't, or not again. These aren't my opinions. These are the opinions of EA Sports, as far as the stats goes. I think I'm going to pick up Heath Miller. It's 23. Okay, I think that covers my starters on offense. Mike Carney, 26, young. Yeah, I think I'll go for him. But there's a lot of... there's still a 98 on the board, so... I think we'll switch over to defense. And let's see what's on the board for middle linebackers. Ooh, a young Patrick Willis. The rookie Patrick Willis. That's tempting. What have I got about cornerbacks? Yeah, I think I'm going to get Patrick Willis will be the center of my defense. What about defensive tackles? Anyone? Young Mike Patterson. Mario Williams. Decent acceleration, not the greatest strength. Brittany Poole is pretty good. Rookie LeRon Landry. Yeah, I'm going to pick up LeRon Landry as a rookie. But I missed out on Brittany Poole. I like fast, tall safeties, but... Reggie Nielsen, rookie. He's got good acceleration stats, but he's awfully far down. Let's see. Nick Harper. Jason David, good acceleration, not the greatest speed. Ugh. Let's check on halfbacks. Nope, fullbacks. Lorenzo Neal's still on the table. See, I generally like my defensive tackles to be over 300 pounds and taller. But I like Bolt Patterson. They're young. Stats are decent. I wish he had better acceleration and strength. Where was... Broderick Bunkley. He's got good strength and good acceleration. But it's hard to tell how many teams are going to be taking those guys. Let's pick up Patterson. There's Bunkley. I'm going to go with him too. And if anything, I can edit their positions and move them to left or right end, since they're a bit undersized. No one's picking up fullbacks yet. So I've got enough defensive tackles. I'm not really seeing any ends that I think are particularly good. You know, you like them to have a good strength, acceleration, is what I'm generally going for. LeVar Arrington. John Beeson. Boss Bailey. Rookie. I like my linebackers to have accelerations and speed at least of 80. He's got pretty good acceleration, alright speed. Boss Bailey is actually, I like him more. But he's a rookie. And he's a 4-year pro. Once they hit 4 or 5 years, the likelihood of their awareness going up is less. That's not to say that it's nothing, but there's definitely a decline. So, I still haven't gotten a free safety? I thought I had. Michael Griffin. Rookie, 6 feet tall, but got good speed, acceleration. Merriweather, who's better as far as... Merriweather's shorter, and Griffin has better tackling. Nick Collins. Yeah, we're gonna go with Griffin. So that'll give us a good back end on our secondary. Ike Taylor. He's got good speed, acceleration. He's not going to get a lot of interceptions. His awareness is pretty good. He's a 4-year pro. Who else do we have further down the line? I got some Kelly Jennings. I generally like my cornerbacks to be 6 feet or taller. Kind of like Pete Carroll in that department. But at this point, what's available is available. Let's check on halfback or fullbacks. Uh-oh. I think I missed the boat on fullbacks. Oh, that's alright. Jamil Cook's 28. He's got a... Oh, that's awareness. Oh, no, wait. Justin Green is young. Huh, he's from Montana. His acceleration isn't the greatest. His speed is poor, but he's a great run blocker. I mean, it's pretty... Rarely do you get someone with that high a run block. He's a great pass blocker. I think we're going to pick him up. And yeah, that coverage covers my starters except for my kicker and my punter. Where are we at with them? Okay. Kickers are fairly easy to up their stats. Their accuracy will go up pretty consistently over time. And then the mini drills, you can increase both their power and accuracy, and the mini drills are actually the kicking one is pretty much guaranteed 3 points you can add each season. And then punting's a little trickier. Generally, you can get 2. If you're lucky, you'll get the 3rd. So let's go ahead. We'll draft Rainer. I like my kickers to be powerful. And then their accuracy will go up, and then I can use the mini drills to get them up to 99. So we'll draft our kicker. And now our punter, I like my punters to be accurate. So out of these, Steve Weatherford, 85, 85, 85. He's a little younger. Awareness really doesn't affect kickers. We'll get him. He's got a little bit more power. I generally don't care about the kicker or the punter's kick power, simply because the longer he kicks it, the more likely he is to get a touchback. If you got a strong defense, then if they stop him, then your running back can technically get more yardage. And though while having a winning team definitely helps improve your created character stats, since I'm just going for stats, I'm not necessarily going for wins. But yeah, winning the Super Bowl definitely helps the long-term success of your running back. Boy, there still doesn't seem to be a lot on the board as far as young defensive tackles, defensive ends. Let's see, I've drafted 2 defensive tackles so far. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of ends on the table that are young and have good strength and acceleration. Both strength and acceleration. And then Thomas Kelly, he's 25. Both of his are in the mid-ish 80s. Yeah, a lot of these guys have good strength or good acceleration, but not both. So we're going to pick up Tommy Kelly first. And then we'll pick up well, I can wait. I want to pick up Tank Johnson next. So I've got 2 outside linebackers. I've got 2 middle linebackers. I need more cornerbacks. Oh boy, a rookie, Darrelle Revis. I don't think that's something you can turn up. Okay. So I've basically got... Oh, I need to look for Tank Johnson. That's what I was going to do. He's an 83. And once I draft him, that will give me a starter at every position. A young Adrian Peterson. He's got great stats, except carrying, which you'd like to be at least mid-80s. But since my created character is a halfback, I don't really want him. I know what defensive tackle I want. Ooh, very old Junior Seau. D'Angelo Williams, halfback. 27 to Old Jackson. Well, if I draft him, I can run a 3-4. And then picking up that Tank Johnson would matter because I'd have... Yeah. Let's go with that. So let's go back to the top. Now I think I'm just looking for anyone who's a particular standout at their position. There's Tank Johnson. We'll go ahead and, I mean, even if he's a backup, he's a good backup. And right now I'm pretty much just drafting backups. Ruben Drones, no. Priest Holmes. But that's Priest Holmes after several knee surgeries. And Robbie Smith, almost Doomerville. He's got incredible acceleration, but rookie Marshawn Lynch. But that should go to a team who actually needs a starter, not me. He's got good stats. An outside linebacker. But in a way, I need a backup cornerback more. Or a third corner more. Justin Miller. Yep. Can't think of a reason why I wouldn't go with that. Okay, so let's go back to doing what we were. He's got pretty good stats too. Pick him up. That does it for cornerbacks. You know, I'm not seeing a lot of offensive backups. So it looks like it must be the defense that, or it's the offense that teams are drafting earlier, despite a lack of stats. Always good to have a decent backup. But considering I only have him for 1 year, because I'm pretty sure at 38 he's going to retire. Yeah, probably had to go good to look for a good third wide receiver. Rookie Jason Hill, he's got good catching. He's right at the line of speed, acceleration. Generally like taller wide receivers. I generally like taller players in general. I wish his run block was a little better. But I like him young too. Yeah, it'll work. So that should do it for tight ends, right? Yep. Still need a backup halfback. But getting good backup offensive line is fairly important too. When it comes to offensive linemen, the stats I'm looking at the most is strength and then run block. He's young, he's got good strength. Yeah, we'll go with Jason Brown. When I draft mid-season, not the fantasy draft like I'm doing here, I generally draft for higher strength than what I'm actually picking. But what's available is available, and I'm not as picky about my backups as I am my starters, obviously. Older than I like him, but again, he's a backup. So still need another guard. Doug Free, yeah, he should have better stats than that. But as a rookie, I guess he was an unknown quantity, but I would assume his strength is higher than that. He's definitely a good run blocker, too. Yeah, Cordell Green will work. As far as my backups go, I like him to have a good high carrying. Boy, you don't really see a lot of ones available with high carrying. Well, it's he's got great stats as far as speed, acceleration, and agility, but yeah, let's go with Sproles. He can be my backup. And then from here on out, I think it's just the best that's on the board. There we So don't need a fullback. Don't need kickers. Fullback, 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 halfback. Might as well. Who knows, maybe he'll be worth good trade value in the future. So, still nothing but fullbacks, punters, kickers, fullback, fullback. There's left tackle. Just looking through, seeing if there's anyone who really stands out. So I've got my offense all drafted. I think we'll just go over the defense and look for any more standouts. Left end number 49. Somebody didn't get approved to have their name appear in the game, apparently. Yeah, I like my defensive line to be all fairly balanced. No. So I have to draft ends before I can... Oh, that's dumb. Alright, well... see who I might be able to make something out of. Justin Tuck. I mean, Justin Tuck obviously is a good player, but I would assume he's stronger than the stat they gave him, which is why I don't want to draft him. Oh, fine, let's draft this one. And... since I'm kind of being forced to draft... yeah, why not? Let's pick up Justin Tuck. He's high enough. So that gives us, what, 3 of 4? Okay, let's look for outside linebackers. That guy's got great acceleration and speed. Anything above like 86 I consider great for a outside linebacker, middle linebacker. Oh, what do we have at top? Yeah, we'll go with him. Kilmer. Hoping to find someone whose acceleration and speed is higher than 90. Brandon Condren. He fits the bill. Alright, so now we have a full team. And we can go ahead and see who we've got on the board. Doug Jolly. Call me crazy, but I thought Doug Jolly was a better run blocker than that. 55, not terrible. You know, I need to make sure I have someone on my team that's a good kick returner. Oh, there's drafted. So Justin Miller, Darrell Revis. But he's... There's Dante Hall. Yeah. We'll pick up Dante Hall as specifically to be a kick returner. Adam Bergen is a very good run blocker for a tight end. So, yeah, why not? He's a good prospect, a young cornerback, so pick him up. I generally don't like to keep a third string safeties. Generally like my third quarterback to be a good long-term prospect. I don't think Brooks Bollinger fits that bill. He's good and fast. He's 6'1". Not super tall, but better than 5'9". But for the most part, these are positions that I've already got good backups for. I don't really need a backup fullback. Rob Ninkovich. Again, I don't think his stats are really representative of the actual player. But people have always complained about how how EA Sports goes about choosing their stats, determining who is what. So since we're having trouble finding players to pick, this is the last round anyway. Let's see if there's anyone who has particularly outstanding stats. Looks like everyone with high speed. It is pretty much a cornerback or wide receiver, and I don't really need more of them. Chris Kimono definitely is a good pickup. Kimono was, definitely good. Okay. So, we've completed the fantasy draft, and now we're on to the minicamp drills. So, I'm going to go ahead and save this. There we go, done. And then I'm going to pause the video, because in order to do the minicamp drills, the screen resolution changes and it goes to full screen, which I think is going to mess with the recording, or the video. So, I'm going to pause it, and when we come back, we'll go through and do these minicamp drills.